Chairman, thank you. Thank you, and Senator Cantwell, for having this hearing and what is clearly occurring at a critical time. I want to first indicate that your subcommittee on aviation and space intends to have a DoD, FAA, and NTSB discussion roundtable once again. The date we've zeroed in on is June the 11th, in which we have another understanding from the investigator and the FAA and the Department of Defense what is transpiring since the incident and tragedy of January the 29th. I also want to indicate that I've introduced legislation that may be of interest to others on the committee to join, and that would require all aircraft in Class B high-volume airspace to utilize ADS-B in and out. Something that was a significant item of discussion and concern on the night of January the 29th in regard to the Black Hawk. Let me ask a question that an issue that bothered me in the past, and I highlighted this in our last hearing. NTSBs, and I suppose this is for you, well, let me leave it open to whoever wants to answer it. NTSB's preliminary investigation highlighted 15,214 events, October 21 to December 24, of commercial planes and helicopters that were separated by less than 1 nautical mile. That information that NTSB provided came from the computer records of the FAA. And those numbers, as well as other statistical facts that were told to us, demonstrated to me a continuing problem, a continuing circumstance in which there is close proximity between aircraft at DCA. And that's troubling in and of itself, but troubling to me is if it's in the FAA's computer records, is that something that the FAA monitors to know the trends so that actions can be taken to reduce the risks? I don't know whether that's... Mr. McIntosh, you seem to be on the seat today.
Yeah, so Senator Moran, if it's okay, both myself and my colleague, Ms. Baker, will tag team this question to make sure we give you an appropriate answer. Reference FAA databases, we are required, any loss of separation, we are required to enter what's called a mandatory occurrence report for further review. Anything that's considered to be a near-mid-air collision must be investigated. Any pilot reports of close proximity, we investigate. And we do keep records of that. We also keep records of our voluntary safety reporting program, or our ATSAPs, that come from our controllers and analyze that. I will say that I am concerned, and I acknowledge that we missed something at DCA. Our mitigations failed because we do have quality assurance and quality control processes, where through the data analysis, we are supposed to develop corrective action plans. I know that Acting Administrator Rocheleau talked about what we'd like to do to ensure that we have better analysis of our data trends, and I'm going to follow up with exactly what he said, which is updating the aviation safety information analysis and sharing tool with artificial intelligence and machine learning to do a better analysis of the trends that involve mixed aircraft types, helicopters and fixed wing. When we look over 10 years of data, I think if you get a report once per month or something like twice per month over the year of 10 years, I think some trends may escape someone. And I think some of these tools that we have available to us will help us spot these trends better so we can be more proactive in our mitigations versus reacting to an event, because that's really what a safety organization is supposed to do. So I really want to make sure that we continue to quantify the data and make surgical improvements to our safety processes, and those surgical having the biggest benefits on making sure that we have better processes and better procedures in place to ensure safety to the flying public.
Would you say that, I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, that data is sufficiently alarming that it should have raised more awareness and action than it did?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Baker?
I just wanted to add that holistically we are looking at data across the FAA, both how do we Mr. McIntosh described specific data sets within the air traffic organization, but what we want to do is bring together data sets across the FAA. That requires more computing power because more data sets just require more computing power to bring them all together. But we also need to apply artificial intelligence type tools and large language models to help us spot emerging trends that may not be visible to individuals on a one or two incident basis over a multitude of years, as well as we have a lot of reports that are text-based, and right now those have to be reviewed by analysts. So the application of large language models helps us sort through those things and bring together related information faster.
Does the Secretary's announcement have any, is there any consequence to the ability to do what you just described with the resources that are being talked about, or is that going someplace else to the absence of this need?
We are already committed to that, and this announcement doesn't impact the resources there.
Let me just finally say that this is, if it's a problem at DCA, and there are helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft at many airports across the country, I assume that the FAA is also doing the same kind of examination and soul-searching across the country, not just focused on DCA. Is that true?
That is 100% accurate, Senator. We're looking at right now 10 airports or 10 cities with airports that have charted airport routes. And we have done, I feel it's a very important body of work to your point. And what we're doing is we're assessing that data, and we're already having actionable items. Case in point, Las Vegas. Las Vegas has got some charted helicopter routes that are close to the international airport. Based on our analysis and what we saw, we've already established lateral and vertical boundaries for those helicopter routes to keep them separated from aircraft landing and departing the airport, as well as working with our labor partners to work on making sure that traffic advisories are well-timed and well-placed so that the helicopter pilots and that the commercial pilots know exactly where the helicopter routes and have situational awareness. But the biggest thing is the lateral confines of those helicopter routes to make sure that they're separated from our arriving and departing aircraft. That's big for us. And that is an example of what I expect from our data sets to lead to the appropriate corrective action plans that we want to see put in place to actually mitigate any potential issues on the front side. And that's where we need to be.
Thank you.